Hey guys, I'm Brian Paul, and it's time for some more PlayStation VR. Breaking news. First up, after a brief delay, Arizona Sunshine, the damn DLC, now has a price and a date, and it's coming fast and cheap. Expect the DLC to drop October 3rd for $4.99, and unlike the Deadman DLC, expect this one to feature an all-new environment and take longer than 45 minutes to complete.
Welcome, Agent.
Speaking of delays, after days of speculating, Espire 1 VR Operative has obviously been officially delayed on all platforms. But the team at Digital Load is saying that there is a silver lining, and that's that it'll give them a chance to go back and rework some of the elements of Espire 1 that just didn't feel quite right. They're not ready to nail down a new release date yet, but when there's something to reveal, we'll certainly let you know.
Cutting-edge espionage units on assignments around the globe.
More Beat Saber music is on the way next week when developer Beat Games drops a Panic at the Disco DLC pack on the PlayStation Store. Expect this one to be similar in price to the Imagine Dragons pack, which dropped back in June.
This is the moment you've waited for.
Publisher Perp Games, the savior of PlayStation VR physical media, announced that they're bringing BATTLEWAKE and The Walking Dead Onslaught to retail. Servios is one of the best PlayStation VR developers out there, killing it with release after release over the last 3 years, so getting physical versions of these games is pretty exciting. The Walking Dead doesn't have a release date quite yet, but you can expect BATTLEWAKE to hit store shelves on November 15th.
The curtain sank one again!
ARVORE Studios has shown off the very first teaser shot of their upcoming game Pixel Rip 1995. The console depicted looks like a Super Famicom, but oddly with a Sega 32X attachment, and the game on the TV has a Super Castlevania 4 vibe. How all this is going to play out is anyone's guess, but lead developer Ana Ribeiro is showing off their game at an Oculus event going on now, and so hopefully we'll see some gameplay footage soon. As promised, we get that new Pistol Whip trailer from Cloudhead Games, and it comes with some good news and some slightly disappointing news. The good news is that it is coming to PlayStation VR, and the game itself looks fun as hell, and should satisfy any cravings for a fast-paced action arcade game. The bad news is that, unlike every other platform that got a November 7th release date, PlayStation VR owners got a nebulous, coming soon release window, which really could mean just about anything. The new level for Crisis Brigade, called RANSOM, is now available as a free update for anyone who owns the game. Just like Port Ambush before it, RANSOM is awesome and a great addition to Crisis Brigade proper. And just keep in mind that shortly after the Port Ambush update, the cost of the game rose from $6 to $9, so another small price increase isn't outside the realm of possibilities. But the biggest news of the week is that yesterday's State of Play featured more PSVR content than anyone could have expected. While titles like Star Child and Golem were noticeably absent, Sony took the time to focus on some new titles and announce some release windows for upcoming games. First was Humanity, which the developers describe as how alien invaders might see the human race. It's still confusing as to what the moment-to-moment gameplay will be like, but any developer that managed to attach itself to enhanced games as the publisher deserves credit for their originality.
We have a witness who confirms that you are...
Next up was LA Noire, the VR case files, which had been rumored for months to be finally making its way from PC VR to PlayStation VR. It's a $30 game, and from what I've played so far, it's a lot of fun and pretty impressive graphically on the Pro, but excessive loading screens and some awkward control decisions mar what would otherwise be a must-have game. Having Gorn as part of the PSVR sizzle reel is sure to excite a ton of gamers out there, and the port is looking surprisingly polished, even with a few months to go before launch. Stardust Odyssey might have been the biggest surprise of the show, looking a lot like Bow to Blood, not only artistically but also from a gameplay perspective, leads us to more questions than answers. But again, this is another PlayStation VR game that falls into the winter 2019 release window, so we won't have to wait long until we find out more. But for me personally, After the Fall was the star of this state of play. Coming to us from Vertigo Games, developers of Arizona Sunshine, After the Fall promises to be a much faster-paced shooter than their previous outing. The 1 to 4 player game features RPG elements, letting the players scavenge the ruins of our civilization, utilizing what they find to craft an arsenal of guns and close combat weapons, and it should be out sometime next year.
More aliens!
And finally, Space Channel 5 won't come as a surprise to anyone who's been following the channel for a while. It's been rumored, revealed, and talked about forever, but seeing an autumn 2019 release window is reassuring to those of us who were wondering just how far along in development the game really was.
Down! Here we go! Let's dance! Right! Left! Two!
And finally, it wouldn't be a great breaking news report without the announcement of yet another new PlayStation VR game, and this one's called The Room VR, A Dark Matter. Developer Fireproof Games is continuing their award-winning game series The Room, this time designed from the ground up for the unique capabilities of virtual reality. Players can inhabit the spine-tingling world of The Room and interact with its strange contraptions in this compelling new chapter, set in the British Museum circa 1908. Expect The Room VR, A Dark Matter to launch sometime in early 2020. Alright you guys, that's all the breaking news I have for you today, but make sure you subscribe to the channel so you can stay up to date with all the latest PlayStation VR reviews, Let's Plays, podcasts, and of course breaking news. As always, I'm Brian Paul, and I love you all.